Hi everyone, in this video we'll be looking at Google Tag Manager integration or integration of any third-party tracking script, and I'll go through that right now. So under admin we want to go to integrations, Tag Manager, we want to go authorize, agreed, and I'm agreeing to accept in this account here, allow, and my integration is basically done. As you can see, there's only one account in here and there's nothing in it. There's not even a container over here. So the question is, where do you want to create the container? There's two ways to do it. Number one is you can update an existing container. So we've got some instructions over here. And the second option is to create a brand new one. I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new one. If you need to update containers, then you're experienced enough to know what to do. But basically, when you click to update a container, you click that and you'll have a selection of containers to pick from. And then you can select the tags, variables, and triggers that you can add inside the container. Right, so that's how that works. For now, I'm going to go through and import a whole container into this account called Leads Testing. I'm going to call this LeadsHook GTM integration. You can give it whatever name you want. Go ahead and go save. And what it's doing right now, LeadsHook is transferring a container, a pre-prepared container, into your Google Tag Manager account. So it's going to go through now. I'll give it a few seconds while it loads up. And that's done. So there you go. There's a container right over there. To see what it looks like, we'll just refresh this page and we'll probably see a container inside here. So there you go, LeadsHook GTM integration, which is exactly what we have over here. Now, our advice is don't work on this yet, okay? Because what happens is when you go to manage variables, you go ahead and check these details, and when you change those details, what's going to happen is this details will automatically update inside these variables that we have inside Google Tag Manager. So it'll update not the triggers, it'll update the variables over here. Okay, because these are all the variables that these tags will use, and it'll update those automatically. So these are the tags that we've added into your Google Tag Manager account each time you go through that, so therefore it makes tracking seamless. Okay, so to continue here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and update these. So I'm just going to pause the video while I quickly grab my details. So just bear with me for a second. Right, so where do you get this domain from? We've got instructions over here on what to do, but basically what you're doing is you're going to grab the domain. So if I type in the domain and I press enter, it's gonna redirect and end up on a page. So sometimes it'll end up without the www, sometimes it does. So this is the one that we want. Okay, so which is where it ends up after you've loaded the site up. So go through here, and I'm just gonna copy and paste that. I think it's without the HTTPS, correct? So it's that. That you don't touch. This automatically combines these two. And the other thing you do is your Facebook pixel, which I'm not going to do now, but if you add your Facebook pixel in, and then it'll fire off the Facebook pixel as well, or the GA tracking ID, which is what I'm going to go and get now. So go over here, go into Google Analytics. This is the one that I want to use, the GA for the tracking ID. So go to tracking information, tracking code, and it should show up right about now. So there you go, that's it. So go ahead and copy that, move over to, okay, and I think that's done. So if I'm going to go save now, it'll log back into Google Tag Manager and update the variables. To confirm that that has happened, if I just go ahead and refresh this, I could have just clicked variables actually. If I go to variables, go into your domain. It should show yeah, that's my LeadsHook variable. That's your domain, which is the testing.com. I think I may have made a mistake here. Yes, I should not have done that. I added a slash in by mistake, so just need to be a little bit careful. I'm pressing that again just to see if it updates it. If it doesn't, then we'll just go ahead and manually update that over here. Right, so what's happening here is any variables you change are automatically updated over here. But I prefer you work with over here because there's a few extra things that LeadsHook does, which you won't be able to do directly here. So I'm just going to go ahead and see that. And yeah, it's removed it. Perfect. All right, so that's worked. Obviously, Facebook Pixel, we did not update it, so it's still talking about the value is still your Facebook Pixel ID. You can change the pixel later. And that's basically, in a nutshell, your GTM integration is done. There really wasn't much to it. Now comes the second bit, which is installing GTM. So I'm going to be using WordPress, but you can use any third-party platform that you have, or any landing page builder that you have, provided they allow you to use Google Tag Manager, or allow you to put scripts, I should say, and the head, just for the closing head tag and the opening body tag, you should be able to use GTM. So I'm going to go into WordPress, and I like to use the head, footer, and post injections plugin because it allows me to put in any code in the head section after the opening body tag or before the closing body tag. Now there are some plugins out there that only give you option of this and that, but that's not what we want. The instructions for GTM are pretty clear. It needs to be after the opening body tag, which is this one here. That's at the bottom, that's the top. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that now. So I can get it from over here. Let's copy, and it says it right over here in the head section of the page. Copy and paste, and instructions are after the opening body tag. So I'm going to copy that and place it over here. But that's not much else to do over here except to press save, and that's saved. You could have also gotten the same details from Google Tag Manager, which is just by clicking the container, that's exactly the same information, right? So that's the other place that you could have gotten it from, directly from GTM. So that's done, and now it's a matter of just embedding the decision tree. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to just go ahead and edit this. So we've applied Google Tag Manager to the account. We haven't applied the Google Tag Manager to the decision tree. Okay, so we haven't applied a container to the decision tree, which we'll do next. We've added in our GTM details into WordPress, so it's ready to receive GTM. We've added in the analytics code so that it's going to fire inside GTM. Now we're going to go through and assign the container to this decision tree. So this decision tree does not have a container yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, yep, that's what I want. I am going to not include that because that's the direct way of doing Google Analytics. I'll share that with you next. So we're just going to do GTM, just press save, and now GTM has been applied to this decision tree. To see that it's working, I will need the embed code. So I'm just going to grab that. Sorry, I'm going to get remove preview because I want to activate it. Control C, go into inside WordPress, go to add new page. And I'll just make sure that it's under text. So that's the visual editor, that's the text editor. So basically where you see it in code view. paste that. And I won't bother with any of the fancy settings here for now, but just go GTM test, publish. Okay, so if I go ahead now to see what I'll probably see a sign saying it can't be viewed by me. That's because I have not activated the decision tree. So I'm going to do that next. Just going to press activate. Process, and I should see this decision tree inside WordPress. I'm just going to refresh the page, and there you go. So the decision tree showing up inside WordPress. Now to track a few things, I'm just going to quickly copy this, and I'm going to show you what to track for, how to make sure everything's firing. People often use the pixel tracker and the pixel helper, I should say, and the tag assistant. I don't really use all that. I go directly for this directly into code view, which is a developer JavaScript console, and go to sources network. I'm just going to go preserve log, and this is where I like to track this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so everything's loading up quite nicely. That is my Google Analytics firing, um, and so that's, oops. All right, so let's just make sure. All right, so what we're going to see, what we're seeing here, let me move this up a bit. That's the WordPress section. That's the WordPress section. So that's for the entire page. That's the WordPress section. That's LeadsHook right there. So if I open it up, these are all the files LeadsHook is loading up. These are the files that WordPress is loading up. So WordPress is loading up GTM, and it's firing Google Analytics. I can see that my GA is firing. The important thing to look for is what I'm looking for is the CID, which is the client ID. And let me see if I can quickly find that over here, which is right over here. Oops. So if you have a look, right underneath here you're going to see CID equals 204 and 204.237, which is that number there. So that's the client ID being issued by Google Analytics, and we want to confirm that that is the same client ID being issued over here. So that confirms that our cross-domain tracking is working. And if you have a look here, I'm just going to go CID 204.273. Yep, so GA is working, cross-domain tracking is working, and the tracking is firing. Really, there's not much more to this. But what you've done is you've activated cross-domain tracking, which means when you look at your data inside Google Analytics, I've got a whole video on that. What we're going to see, if I just go to User Explorer, which is Audience, User Explorer, and I want it for today only. Apply. You see, there you go. That's my number there, 204.273. So that's my client ID, which is from Audience User Explorer. If I just go ahead and click that, you'll see that I came from wiztesting.com/GTM, then Google Tag Manager was firing. So you can see how the flow is working inside one session. So it's one session, 3 page views, and each node is fired as a page view. So you can see the flow of what's happening. So it's flowing from the bottom to the top, because it's going to put the what I saw first at the bottom, and then on my way up here. So as I go through the decision tree, it's going to show up over here. Please go to the knowledge base, and there's a whole section on how to go about setting up node level tracking as well. But that, in a nutshell, is tracking done. It works seamlessly inside Google Analytics, and cross-domain tracking is working. You can see it right over here. The User Explorer, and all this data now flows through to the various reports that you have. That's tracking done. Now, if you don't want to do cross-domain tracking, and you prefer to track natively. So in that case, what's going to happen is you will lose the ability to see it in one session. So the one session part is right now Google Analytics is seeing wishtesting.com and uh, ftest4.leadshook.io as one website. And that's the beauty of the cross domain tracking that you can see. If you don't, what's going to happen is going to show up as two different sessions over here. You're going to see that LeadsHook. You're going to see Wish Testing as a referrer for the LeadsHook for your decision tree, which I don't really like seeing it like that, but it's a more of a personal preference thing. I like to see it as if it's one website. That's why I've set up the cross domain tracking. But if you don't want to do that, and there's no need for you to, if you don't want to, then go ahead under global scripts or even decision level scripts and just add the code right over here. It's the same. There you go. There's the GA code, which you can pick up from right over admin, tracking info, tracking code, and it's this code here right there. That's your GA code, which you can add directly under global scripts above the head and fire that into the decision tree. So that would be view, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the gear button here, scripts, and you can select that instead of this. So I can turn this off and turn that on. Obviously in this case it won't save because the decision tree is activated, but you can deactivate and do that. So that's the other way of doing it, where you can actually just do the Google Analytics on its own, and that will work fine as well. All your tracking will work, and you can see where people are dropping off at where people are dropping off inside your decision tree. The benefit of the GTM approach is that now if you're sending them to other pages which are controlled by you, then you'll be able to do the cross domain tracking there as well. Right, so that while this approach only tells you the decision tree specific data, you won't be able to get the data coming to and from the various sites that you own sitting on different domains. So I hope that kind of clarifies as to the difference between the GTM and Wish Testing. To see more, just go to LeadsHook.com/help, and we've got, if I just put track over here, press enter, and you can go to complete guide to tracking, and this includes a good discussion on why we use GTM, why Google Analytics. If you want to do direct linking, do that, how to fire third-party scripts, and all the information is sitting over here to do node level tracking and how to analyze your data as well. Okay, so I hope that gives you a brief overview as to how to use GTM as well as do direct tracking. Now, for Facebook, if you want to do Facebook tracking using GTM, then it's a matter of pretty simple. Just go over here, go to integrations, tag manager, go to manage variables, update your Facebook pixel over here. Alternatively, go into GTM, go into variables, and we have Facebook pixel ID, edit, and change the pixel here. Okay, so they're both the same thing. Well, one just updates its data from inside LeadsHook using the API. The other is going directly over here. Right, so that's how that would work. Now, if you want to track, let's say you want to track LinkedIn, you want to track Twitter ads, you want to track Pinterest, you want to track any other third-party platform, this is where it becomes really powerful to use Google Tag Manager, because all you do is go into tags and go ahead and add the other tag here. And as soon as you add the tag over here and you activate it, all of a sudden, whenever this page is refreshed, not that page, this page is refreshed, it'll automatically go ahead and fire every other tag that you got over here. So it's a far more scalable way of setting up tracking analytics. That's the reason for using GTM, is because now you're passing data into multiple third-party tracking and traffic systems, and that's the real power of using LeadsHook and GTM. So anyway, but each to their own. I don't have a preference as to what users use. Use whatever you're comfortable with. We just provide options because we've got users who are quite comfortable using GTM, in which case we say you use GTM. And if you're not, and you want to do only use Google Analytics or just Facebook or just two things, then you can do it directly as well without using GTM by adding your pixels or your scripts directly under scripts over here. So you use your Facebook one right over here by going add and then applying it into the decision tree. Alternatively, you could go into the actual decision tree itself. Say you're working for a client and they're only going to ever run one campaign with you, and so one decision tree. Go under scripts and go ahead and add it directly to decision tree level scripts, which is by pressing add over here and just add your script or add your tracking code directly over here. Right, so I hope that gives you a brief overview of the multiple ways in which you can achieve certain your tracking and analytics outcome or your tracking analytics needs. You're free to use one or the other approach or a combination. We'll leave it up to you. We try and give as much flexibility as we can. I hope this helps you integrate your Google Tag Manager and your tracking and your analytics needs. If there's any questions, as always, please email us at help@leadshook.com. Thank you, and bye for now.